shoe, and when I used to rap on the dough and shit, and it's like, man, you know Honeycomb from Alabama. I'm like, nah, man, but you like the third.
Welcome back to BuzzBuster. I'm glad you're here. Make sure you subscribe so you don't miss daily videos. This whole thing is straight up crazy. One minute, this guy's on live with tears rolling down his face, and the next, the internet's packed with clips of him throwing hands with JPrinceJr. It's like the whole world flipped overnight. But here's what the blogs won't tell you. This isn't just some random beef.
They just see like Honeycomb, they're like, yeah, man, check him out when you get out. Ooh, you get out, man, he hard, man. You will really like him, man. You remind me so much, honey. Y'all just like.
We're talking about a family sitting on hundreds of millions, turning their backs on their own blood. The betrayal runs deep, and nobody saw it coming. This story got layers on top of layers, and it all traces back to one clip, the footage in that shady business move that sparked the whole storm. Just imagine, that same video you're seeing right now is spreading like wildfire across every feed, shaking the entire hip-hop scene to its core. The video shows Finesse2Tymes and JPrinceJr.
So when I got to Atlanta, JR House, they had phones. So I was seeing it. So this the Honeycomb nigga they was talking about. So I reached out to him.
Two dudes who were once all about stacking paper and building an empire together. Now, they're swinging at each other like enemies in the streets. What was once a tight business bond just turned into a full-blown war. With this kind of drama, there's no coming back. That bridge is burned for good. And this ain't even the first time their names hit the headlines. These two been going at it for years, from 2023 all the way through 2025. Every run-in getting messier than the last. Near fights during dice games, chains getting snatched, and heated arguments that almost broke into all-out chaos. You could feel that pressure building up for a long time. But this latest fight,
like, he with me, so I reached out, I seen it. You know what I'm saying? My guys and shit, they were like, bro, what you like, he always. So I reached out, we chopped it up, and it was what it was.
It might be the final straw that ends everything for real. Back in 2024, things nearly went completely off the rails until OG Boo Dirty had to step in and break it up before it turned into something way worse. Every single time they clashed, it was like a warning shot that everyone in the culture could see clear as day. Still, nobody could slow it down. And now that the newest clip just hit the internet, the whole world's watching this meltdown unfold in real time. To really get why this video's got the whole game shook, why it's more than just some celebrity scuffle, you gotta rewind. This isn't just fists flying. It's the final chapter of something that's been brewing for years. You gotta trace it back to where it all began, the deal, the contract, the paperwork that flipped what should have been a legendary comeback into a setup that trapped him deep. Let's roll it back to the summer of 2022. Ricky Hampton Jr., known in the streets and the industry as Finesse2Tymes, had just touched down fresh out the feds after serving almost 4 years on a firearm charge. That case came from a wild 2017 nightclub situation in Forest City, Arkansas, where reports claimed he allegedly let off an AK-style pistol during the chaos. He took that 5-year sentence like a soldier, kept his head down, and did his time without folding. When he got out, the whole music world had their eyes glued on him, waiting to see his next move. And what happened next? Man, it looked like something straight out of a movie. JPrinceJr., the boss behind Mob Ties Records, personally flew him out on a private jet and blessed him with a heavy chain like he was crowning a king. The way they rolled out that welcome, it was pure royalty. It looked like all the pain, all those hard years were finally about to turn into a major win. And this wasn't just some small-time label move either. Mob Ties Records was directly tied to the legendary Rap-A-Lot Records, the empire built by JPrinceJr. himself. That connection alone carried decades of power, history, and respect. This was supposed to mark the start of something iconic, but behind the scenes, it was the start of a storm nobody saw coming. Rap-A-Lot Records, founded way back in 1986, wasn't just any label. It was the blueprint for Southern hip-hop.
I said, bro, I ain't gonna lie, bro, for me in jail. Bro, fuck with me in jail. I ain't gonna never put no cap it out, but like it is what it is.
This Houston powerhouse birthed legends like the Ghetto Boys, Scarface, and Bun B from UGK, reshaping the entire rap game forever. So when Finesse2Tymes signed that dotted line, he wasn't joining some neighborhood label. He was stepping into an empire that ruled the charts and the streets for nearly 4 decades. And that kind of empire, it carries huge respect and serious fear everywhere it moves. But here's where the dream turned dark, real dark. According to a leaked document Rap Intel dropped in January 2026, the deal Finesse signed wasn't what it seemed. The paperwork was structured like a trap, slick on the surface, but dangerous underneath. Writers even came forward calling the whole contract predatory, saying it was built to control everything from his money to his freedom. What looked like a blessing might have been the biggest setup of his career. The breakdown of that deal was straight up wild. According to those leaked papers, the money split was crazy. 35% going to Finesse, another 35% to Mob Ties, and the last 30% sliding over to JPE, better known as JP Entertainment. But it didn't stop there. That cut reached way past album sales. It grabbed everything in sight. Every single dollar his grind pulled in had someone else's hand snatching at it. And what really got people fired up when those leaks hit the net? JPE had full managerial control. That meant every business move, every performance deal, every release, all had to get stamped by them. So even though it looked like a partnership on paper, in reality, all the power stayed locked tight in the Prince family's hands. They ran the show from top to bottom. Then came January 2026, the month everything finally cracked wide open. Finesse jumped on the live stream, breaking down in front of thousands of fans, tears streaming while he let the truth spill out. He said he dropped 2 full projects with 0 push from the label. No promo, no budget, no real backing. On top of that, he was paying $10,000 to $15,000 per music video straight out of his own pocket. And the worst part, Mob Ties reportedly turned down major show offers, deals that could have easily brought him between $10 to $20 million. That live was raw, emotional, and hard to watch. You could see a man realizing the empire he thought would lift him up had been holding him back the whole time. It wasn't just frustration, it was heartbreak. The kind that hits deep when you realize loyalty might have been one-sided all along. As he sat there on live, the silence between his words said it all. Heavy, tense, real. Then he finally dropped the line that had everyone frozen. Something way deeper than any contract dispute could ever explain. You could hear the pain in his voice when he said, "You know what hurt me the most?" And when those words hit, they sliced through everything. What came next ripped the mask off the whole situation and exposed the real power dynamic for exactly what it was. Control dressed up as a deal. He wasn't just talking about random people. He was calling out the very ones who ran his entire career, the ones holding the keys to his music, his money, and his whole future. And when he finally spoke, he laid it all out with no filter. These weren't people who climbed from the bottom like he did. These were folks born into comfort, sitting on generational wealth, while he was still grinding just to survive. That gap, a $300 million family versus a man barely holding on to $10,000, said it all.
He like, but can you go and send it now? And when I wasn't able to do it when he wanted me to do it, it became a show. So it wasn't like I didn't want to do it.
That right there was the real story. The truth behind all the flashy chains, the private jets, and the fake smiles. You could hear the pain in his voice, the kind that comes from realizing the system you trusted was never built for you to win. Think about it. This is a man who came from the trenches, did real time behind bars, risked his freedom and his life just to carve out a name for himself. And after all that grind, all that hustle, he's facing the cold truth. The ones calling the shots over him were silver spoon heirs, people who never had to fight for anything, sitting pretty on a $300 million empire while he's just trying to stay afloat. And here's the thing, this kind of talk about the Prince family, right? It ain't new. There have been whispers for years. Artists like Z-Ro have already spoken on how things went down under the Rap-A-Lot umbrella. The talk in the streets has always circled around the same stuff: insurance policies, intimidation tactics, and tight control moves that everybody in the industry knows about, but barely anyone dares to say out loud. It's been an open secret for years, and Finesse's breakdown just ripped that secret wide open for the world to see. Now the internet's been going crazy over it. Social media flooded with clips, tweets, and reactions. Everyone talking about how stepping to the princes isn't something you do lightly. People are warning left and right that if you get caught up with that family, you better be ready for some serious consequences. Sure, the memes might make it look funny, but behind those jokes, there's real fear. A kind of fear that's been echoing through hip-hop for decades. When that name gets mentioned, people know exactly what time it is. Finesse2Tymes got so desperate, he even tried to offer a way out, telling them he'd drop 4 or 5 albums back to back just to buy his freedom from the contract. He even called out Lil Woody Jr. directly, saying he'd been ducking real conversations, setting up fake meetings and blowing money on his own lifestyle, while Finesse was out here just trying to keep the lights on. Imagine that, a grown man, 33 years old, with 10 kids dependent on him, stuck in a deal that's choking him financially and emotionally. That kind of weight would break almost anybody. It's the kind of situation that shows how quick success in the music game can turn from a dream into a straight-up nightmare. The man was really trying to make things right, but every move he made got blocked, like someone was pulling strings behind the scenes. Then, out of nowhere, Lil Woody popped up on Vlad TV, breaking the whole thing down from the outside looking in, and he didn't hold back at all. He went straight at Finesse, saying he missed the one thing that could have saved him from this entire mess. Woody wasn't just talking, he flipped the script and dropped one of the coldest lines anyone's heard in an interview all year. But he didn't stop there. He made sure everyone caught the message loud and clear. That contract, right? It wasn't some secret legal trap that needed a lawyer to decode. Nah, it was plain as day. Anyone from the streets could have seen the red flags waving. And that's when Woody hit the culture with the million-dollar question, the one that's still echoing online today. Why sign that deal in the first place? That question cut deep, because nobody's been able to give a straight answer. Then Woody wrapped it up by flipping the whole reading contest talk people used to clown Finesse for, and he turned it into real street wisdom. He basically said it's not always about reading the fine print, it's about reading the game. And he wasn't lying. Woody was speaking facts, no cap. That right there was the core of everything. The real trap Finesse walked right into. A deal that looked golden on the surface, but turned out to be pure chains underneath. That's why when you hit play on that viral clip of Finesse2Tymes and JPrinceJr squaring up, it hits different. Because it's not just some fight caught on camera. It's the crash of everything that deal built and then broke apart. When you watch that footage, you're not seeing two random dudes losing their tempers.
Yeah, you had the situation where Honeycomb Brazy was saying mob ties. He was like, and he was staying loyal to Finesse2Tymes while he was locked up. And he turned down the bag for Moneybag Yo.
You're witnessing the explosion of a partnership built on exploitation, desperation, and a mountain of broken promises. There's blood in the water, betrayal in the air, and years of bad business finally boiling over. If that contract was the disease, then this fallout was the infection, spreading fast, tearing through every bond Finesse ever built. It ate away at friendships, destroyed alliances, and dragged innocent people into a war zone they never even signed up for. Because what went down with mob ties didn't stay between Finesse and JPrinceJr, not even close. It spilled into everything. Other beefs started heating up, other feuds reignited, and confrontations started popping off left and right. What should have been a comeback era turned into one of the most chaotic, unstable chapters of Finesse's unpredictable life. And out of all the relationships that took damage, none got torn apart more painfully or more publicly than his bond with his former label mate, Honeycomb Brazy. That fallout was loud, messy, and straight up tragic. At one point, these two were locked in tight, real brothers in the grind. But to understand how it all fell apart, you gotta go back to where it began. Like a lot of Southern rap connections, their story started behind the wall. Honeycomb Brazy was serving time on charges connected to a 2021 shooting, a case that ended in heartbreaking tragedy involving his own grandparents. It was a dark moment that shook the entire community, and somehow, out of that pain and chaos, he and Finesse built a brotherhood, a bond formed in struggle and survival. But when business, power, and loyalty started clashing, that brotherhood didn't stand a chance. What began as mutual respect turned into a full-blown fallout, another casualty in the storm that deal created. Around that same time, Finesse was doing his own federal stretch, and word started spreading fast through the system. People who knew both of them started playing middleman, saying, "Yo, you gotta check out this dude from Mobile. He's going crazy right now." At first, Finesse had never even heard of Honeycomb Brazy, but his homies kept pressing him to tap in and listen. Then, once he got transferred to a facility in Atlanta, one of the few spots where inmates had real access to phones, he finally got a chance to connect. And the moment he did, everything clicked. He saw exactly what the hype was about, and the respect between them was instant. From there, their connection grew quick, solid, real, and full of mutual respect. Everyone around Finesse said their bond wasn't built on music or clout. It was built on loyalty and struggle. Finesse even said it himself in interviews. The support Honeycomb showed him while they were both locked up was 100% genuine. No fake love, no industry talk, just two men who'd been through pain, loss, and survival, finding real brotherhood in the middle of chaos. But like most things in this story, what started from loyalty turned into another casualty of the chaos tied to that mob ties deal. Because once paper, power, and business started mixing in, the pure bond between them began to crack. The love between them was as real as it gets. No fake energy, no show for the cameras, just two solid street rappers from the dirty South who saw themselves in each other. Their friendship was built on struggle, loyalty, and the kind of respect that only comes from surviving the system together. Honeycomb Brazy stayed 10 toes down for Finesse the whole time he was locked up. That's facts. He even turned down a $40,000 feature offer from Moneybagg Yo just to stay loyal to Finesse, and that's not something you see every day in this game. On top of that, Brazy reportedly sent around $1,500 straight out of his own pocket to look out for his brother behind bars. And let's be real.
Finesse2Tymes, one of his first videos is with Moneybagg Yo when he got out, which is an odd look, man.
He got 4 deals.
When a man who's already locked up takes from his own family's pocket just to make sure you're good, that's not about money, that's about heart. That's loyalty at its purest. That kind of moves speak louder than any words ever could. But when Finesse finally touched down in 2022, everything flipped fast. Almost instantly, the energy changed. Honeycomb expected that same love to circle back his way, and Finesse said he was all for it, but the timing was rough. He explained it perfectly later. He was fresh out the feds, only 3 days home, trying to get his footing back in the real world. He didn't even know how to move freely yet. Imagine being lost in an airport for the first time in your life, trying to figure out what freedom even feels like again. The world had changed while he was gone, and the pressure hit hard. Fame, contracts, cameras, business meetings, and expectations from every side. And in the middle of all that noise, the bond that once felt unbreakable started to fade. It wasn't about disloyalty. It was about timing, confusion, and the kind of chaos that comes when real life collides with the fast, ruthless music game. Right in the middle of all that chaos, Honeycomb was on the phone, pressing Finesse about some money, and that's when everything flipped. Finesse couldn't send the cash right then and there, and just like that, the whole vibe shifted. One missed moment, one small misunderstanding, and everything started to crack apart. That single moment tells you everything about how this beef really started. It was never about the money, not really. It was about timing, pride, and two street-bred men who didn't know how to say what they really felt. Both had good intentions, both meant well, but ego got in the way, and that's when the loyalty started slipping. Finesse eventually sent some bread over, somewhere between $1,500 to $2,000, thinking it would calm everything down. But then came the silence. the distance, that cold tension that creeps in when trust starts to fade. Soon after, Honeycomb reached back out, asking Finesse to pull up on his mom with some cash, a simple favor he thought his brother would make happen. Finesse wanted to, but he couldn't. He was stuck in Memphis at the time, and the people he trusted to handle it weren't available. That delay, that one small misstep, was all it took for something real to start falling apart. What used to be loyalty between two men who once held each other down turned into the spark for another fallout. It wasn't hate, it was just bad timing, heavy pressure, and emotions running wild. But when pride and pain mix like that, things can spiral fast, and this one did. The fallout went nuclear in no time. Honeycomb Brazy came out swinging with a diss track called Why He Lie, where he painted Finesse as a fraud and a user. That song hit hard. The internet grabbed it, ran wild with it, and before you knew it, the story blew up everywhere. But Finesse didn't stay quiet either. He fired back, clowning Brazy all over social media. He threw shots at his pride, his image, and his manhood. And you already know that kind of talk doesn't just fade away in silence. It made everything 10 times worse. Then, just when the situation couldn't get any messier, Brazy's mother stepped in to defend her son. And that's when Finesse crossed a line he never should have touched. Going at a man's mother in public, that's like setting off a bomb on sacred ground, especially in the streets. That kind of move changes everything. Respect, loyalty, and peace all go out the window. And if that wasn't enough, things got even darker when snitching rumors started flying online. The whispers spread like wildfire online, twisting the whole situation into something way uglier than it ever needed to be. What started as a misunderstanding between two brothers in struggle turned into an all-out war, public, messy, and way too real. Honeycomb came out swinging again, this time with a serious claim that shocked everyone. He accused Finesse of being tied to FBI surveillance that allegedly played a role in his 2023 arrest. The internet exploded. Every platform lit up with debates, reactions, and conspiracy talk. But to Honeycomb's credit, once he went through his paperwork, he cleared it up and took the accusation back. Still, by then, the damage was already done. Trust was shattered, fans were split, and the air between them was ice cold. Then came Naughty, jumping into the mix and breaking everything down with zero filter. He spoke straight for the culture, explaining exactly why people were side-eyeing Finesse so hard. Naughty reminded everyone that while Finesse was sitting behind bars, Honeycomb had turned down real money, big feature bags, just out of loyalty. But when the tables turned and Finesse came home, that same loyalty didn't circle back the way folks expected. According to Naughty, the lesson was simple but cold. When you sign out of desperation instead of strategy, you end up getting played by the same system you were trying to beat. That line hit deep. He wasn't sugarcoating anything, just raw truth, no chaser. He called it exactly how the streets saw it. Loyalty getting twisted, desperation turning into another trap, and the industry showing how ruthless it can really be. But just when it felt like things couldn't get any darker, the whole story flipped in a way nobody saw coming. After all the shots, all the diss tracks, and all the online chaos, by late 2025, Finesse2Tymes and Honeycomb Brazy actually squashed the beef. And the reason they made peace? It was powerful and heartbreaking. They finally saw the bigger picture. They'd been going to war with each other while the real enemy was the system and the label that had been playing both of them from the start. Even BWA Kane confirmed it, saying he heard the two of them chop it up over the phone, talking about growth, respect, and letting go of all that petty drama. They realized they were out here fighting over crumbs from a table that was never meant to feed either of them right in the first place. That moment showed major growth. Two men finally seeing through the smoke and understanding that their fight was never with each other, but with the system that finessed them both. And just when it seemed like the storm might finally calm down, the temperature shot right back up. Because if the whole Honeycomb Brazy saga wasn't enough heat already, new wolves started circling. And these ones weren't just barking, they were biting. That's when Whack 100 jumped in on a full-blown public rampage against JPrinceJr. He started dropping explosive claims about how the Prince family really moves down in Houston, and every word he said set social media on fire all over again. It was chaos layered on chaos, with new voices stepping in, old wounds reopening, and the streets buzzing louder than ever. It wasn't just talk anymore. The internet was eating it up. Every blog, every YouTube page, every comment section was on fire. And just when things couldn't get any louder, even more chaos hit. Snitching rumors started flying from 1090 Jake and DJ Academics, both stacking wild allegations like dominoes falling one after another. Then things got real messy when a dude named 2 with a K jumped online and posted a $20,000 bounty saying he'd pay anyone who could prove that Finesse ever snitched. The internet went into overdrive. And out of nowhere, a Memphis Crip named Seti Nash went viral, claiming he himself was mentioned in paperwork tied to Finesse's old cases. At that point, Finesse was catching heat from every direction, fighting off the system, battling label drama, dealing with former allies turning cold, and taking non-stop shots from the internet. Between reported drug busts in September 2025, October 2025, and again in January 2026, it felt like the man couldn't catch a single break. He was in pure survival mode, boxed in by the feds, betrayed by friends, and dragged by blogs all at once. There was blood in the water, and every shark with a taste for controversy was circling the Prince family empire. And through all that chaos, one thing stood out the most: silence. The Prince family didn't say a word publicly, but that silence, it was loud. It made the entire industry stop and wonder what was really going on behind the scenes. Now here's where things get deep. The part most people online are too scared to even talk about. This is the side of the story that makes content creators start deleting drafts, makes insiders whisper instead of post, and even some of the boldest voices in hip-hop media hesitate before hitting record. Because if you really want to understand what Finesse2Tymes is up against, if you truly want to grasp why that viral clip of him standing toe-to-toe with JPrinceJr sent chills through the entire industry, you've got to understand who the Prince family really is. We're talking about a dynasty that's been moving in power for almost 40 years, a family with a name that holds weight across music, business, and the streets. To some, they're legends who built the blueprint of Southern hip-hop culture. To others, they're untouchable figures you don't want to cross. In this game, people don't just say their name, they speak it with caution, because a lot of folks believe that going against them isn't just bad for business, it could change your life forever. JPrinceJr, born James Prince in Houston, Texas back in 1965, started this entire empire from the ground up. In 1986, he founded Rap-A-Lot Records, originally just trying to keep his younger stepbrother and their homies off the streets and out of trouble. But what started as a neighborhood hustle turned into a full-blown powerhouse, one that reshaped Southern rap and built one of the most feared and respected families in hip-hop history. Rap-A-Lot didn't just sign artists, it created icons. The label gave the world groups like the Ghetto Boys with Scarface, Bushwick Bill, and Willie D, who took gritty Southern reality and turned it into gold records. They didn't follow trends, they built their own lane. From Houston to the entire South, Rap-A-Lot's sound, style, and business model changed the game forever. So when you see that viral footage of Finesse2Tymes standing face-to-face with JPrinceJr, understand this: it's not just a fight caught on camera, it's a moment loaded with history, power, and risk. It's a man standing up to a legacy that's been running the game for nearly 4 decades. Rap-A-Lot Records didn't just make noise, it redefined the sound of Southern hip-hop. It turned Houston into a music empire and proved that independent power could rival the biggest labels in the world.
Yeah, all this: kill, stole, deceived, fought, died, lied. Nigga, you got me.
But that same power also built a reputation that still sends chills through the culture today. That's what makes this feud so heavy. It's not just about fists or money, it's about history, hierarchy, and the kind of influence that most artists never dare to challenge. But with all that success came a dark shadow that's followed the label for decades. Because behind all the hits in history, Rap-A-Lot Records has always had heavy whispers trailing it. Back in the 1990s, the DEA launched a full-scale federal investigation into the label, claiming it might be fronting for a massive drug trafficking operation. They went all in, Wiretaps, undercover work, informants, surveillance, the whole 9 yards. For years, the feds tried to make something stick, but when the smoke finally cleared, not a single charge landed on J. Prince. Instead, in a wild twist, the 2 lead DEA agents who were running the case ended up getting caught and convicted for corruption. The entire operation flipped right back on them. Prince later called the whole ordeal a racially motivated witch hunt, and when it was all said and done, the outcome only made his legend even stronger. He walked away untouched, untouchable, and that moment cemented his reputation both in the streets and the industry as a man you simply don't cross. Then came the next generation, his son, JPrinceJr., who inherited not just the family empire, but also that same powerful, mysterious aura. By the mid-2000s, Jr. started making serious noise in the industry, proving he wasn't just living off the family name.
One of his biggest moves came when he discovered a young Canadian artist named Drake on MySpace back in 2007. He saw the vision early and linked Drake up with Lil Wayne, setting off one of the biggest career runs in hip-hop history. That single move didn't just change Drake's life, it reshaped the entire rap game. Years later, the story took another twist when J. Prince Jr.'s brother, Jaz Prince, ended up in a messy legal battle with Cash Money Records over unpaid royalties connected to Drake's success. Jaz claimed the label owed him millions, and after years of back and forth, he finally settled the case, reportedly walking away with around $11 million. So when you hear the name J. Prince Jr., understand that's not just a name, that's legacy. Every step he takes carries generations of weight, power, and expectation. He was born into influence and built to lead, but with that same power comes controversy. Because J. Prince Jr.'s name has been tied to some of the biggest, most talked about moments in modern hip-hop, from label disputes and high-profile altercations to the kind of behind-the-scenes moves that keep his name buzzing through the culture. He's part boss, part mystery, a figure walking in his father's shadow while creating his own, one that's just as commanding and just as feared. On November 1st, 2022, tragedy struck the entire hip-hop world. Takeoff, member of the iconic group Migos, was shot and killed at a Houston bowling alley during a private event hosted by J. Prince Jr. The footage from that night sent shockwaves everywhere. It showed Jr. walking past Takeoff's body, and within hours, the internet erupted. Outrage, confusion, and conspiracy theories started flooding every feed and every timeline. Even Offset, Takeoff's bandmate, stepped forward publicly and called the Prince family ops, throwing the spotlight on a feud nobody ever expected to see. And it didn't stop there. Soon after, even more accusations began flying, this time connected to another tragedy, the death of the popular jeweler known as Duke the Jeweler. Online breakdowns started circulating fast, with people claiming that Jr. had allegedly been involved in a dice game that turned deadly. While no official charges were ever filed against him, the rumors alone were enough to keep his name buried in controversy. Between the street legend status of his father and the heavy scrutiny now surrounding his own name, J. Prince Jr. found himself standing right at the crossroads of power, perception, and danger. He's a man carrying the full weight of a legacy that helped build Southern hip-hop, but one who now lives under a cloud of whispers that just won't fade. By 2023, the storm around the Prince family reached a whole new level of chaos. Out of nowhere, unverified sex trafficking allegations began surfacing online, spreading like wildfire across social media platforms. No solid proof ever surfaced, but that didn't stop the internet from running wild with the claims. Every day, new sources, new receipts, new theories, but still nothing concrete. And through all of it, the accusations, the speculation, the non-stop headlines, one thing never changed: the Prince family's silence. No statements, no interviews, no explanations, just stone-cold quiet. Their silence said more than any press release ever could.
Call me out on my education when you just sat right there and turned yourself into a slave. But
leaving the public to fill in the blanks with fear, respect, and rumors that just wouldn't die down. And that right there is the same family Finesse2Tymes decided to go up against, publicly, for the entire world to see. This isn't just some regular disagreement. This is a face-off against one of hip-hop's most powerful dynasties. That viral clip of Finesse standing chest to chest with JPrinceJr wasn't just another street scuffle. It was a direct challenge to a family that's been untouchable for nearly 38 decades. It was a moment heavy with history, power, and risk. The kind of moment where everything could change in a split second. Now, the entire culture is watching, tension thick in the air, people holding their breath, waiting to see what happens next. Because no matter how this story ends, one thing is for sure. What started as business has turned into a battle between legacy and rebellion, between loyalty and freedom, between power and the ones bold enough to stand against it. Even Wack 100 couldn't stay quiet. He jumped straight into the fire, breaking down his own wild theory about what's really going on behind the scenes in Houston. He started connecting dots between the Prince family's business plays and the bigger picture that most people are way too scared to even speak on. Then, out of nowhere, Wack dropped a bomb that shook the whole industry. He asked the question that's been sitting in the back of everyone's mind, the one people in hip-hop whisper about but never say out loud. He made it personal, declaring that he was done keeping quiet about people he believed were moving foul in the shadows. The energy in that moment was heavy, raw, emotional, and dangerous. When the host tried to push back, asking if Wack was making things worse or just stirring the pot for attention, the whole conversation exploded. Voices got loud, tensions flared, and what started as a debate turned into a full-blown argument that exposed one of hip-hop's biggest contradictions, the snitch label. Who gets to call it? Who actually lives by it? And why does the truth always depend on who's talking? That clash showed the deep divide running through the culture. Loyalty, image, and survival all fighting for space in a world where silence can be either power or guilt. And speaking of silence, one person's quiet has spoken louder than anything else, JPrinceJr. As of February 2026, he hasn't said a single word. No response to Finesse's emotional breakdowns, no comment about that viral footage, no reaction to Wack's claims, not even a word about the serious allegations floating around online. Nothing. Total radio silence. And in the streets, silence like that means something. It's not emptiness, it's intent. It carries weight that words can't touch. Meanwhile, Finesse2Tymes is under more pressure than ever. His legal situation keeps getting heavier. Probation violations, new drug-related charges, and federal eyes tracking every move he makes. Add that public clash with JPrinceJr. on top of it all, and the stakes don't get any higher. One wrong move could change everything. That viral clip, the one the whole world's seen by now, could end up being the very thing that sends Finesse right back behind bars. Every frame of that footage screams danger, not just for his image, but for his freedom. Fans have been flooding his comments, begging him to lawyer up, to fight back, to finally break free from the grip that's been holding him down for years. They're calling this more than just beef, they're calling it survival. But here's the cold truth. As long as that contract still sits tucked away in some label's filing cabinet with his name stamped across it, he's not free. As long as JPrinceJr. keeps control over his catalog and career, and as long as the shadow of the Prince family empire keeps stretching across Houston like a storm that just won't pass, Finesse is trapped in a battle that no viral video, no matter how many millions of views it racks up, can ever settle. This isn't just a fight for pride anymore, it's a fight for freedom, legacy, and survival. The kind of battle that decides whether a man gets to control his own destiny or stays chained to the very system he tried to escape. So now, it's your turn. What do you think? Can Finesse2Tymes ever break out of this deal? Is JPrinceJr.'s silence part of a calculated chess move, or is it a quiet warning to anyone thinking about crossing that line? After seeing that footage with your own eyes,
Whose side are you standing on? If you made it this far, hit that like, subscribe, share, and drop your thoughts in the comments below, because this story's far from over, and the streets, they're still watching every single move.